The Bob TV Network presents, broadcasting live from the greatest city in the world, New York City. It's the Bobby Brown Show. And now here's your host, Bobby Brown.
Well, good evening, everybody. This is Bobby Brown with the Bobby Brown Show. How you guys doing today? Look like I need to get myself up here. All right. That was not supposed to happen. That was not supposed to happen. I don't even know where that is coming from. All right. All right, so today we're going to talk about quite a few things. One of the things I want to talk about, let me get myself up here. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Bobby Brown Show. I'm your humble host, Robert Bob TV Brown. How you guys doing today? And, of course, this is new setup for the Bobby Brown Show. And I hope you appreciate it. The reason I had to go this route because even though I took a class on green screening, it's just not working for me. So I just decided to build my own studio setup. And again, I'm starting to see some latency on this thing already. But never mind that. But good evening, everybody. Appreciate you joining me for the show. I'm going to make this quick. I want to talk about two important subjects today, and this is one. Now, I'm not here to talk about the love affair, the fonding, the admiration, the overly joy, the zaddyism, or whatever you want to call it, of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Oh, yeah, no, there's a lot of pictures like that. I mean, if I was Jill Biden, I would be a little worried about that little look right there. You know, to tell you the truth, the reason why Joe Biden not only is proud to have Kamala Harris on the ticket, Joe Biden admires Kamala Harris' legislative record. Why? Because she basically implemented everything that he put in policy to the T. Kamala Harris is more like a student and he's the sensei. He's master and she's student. And she's learning everything the master told him to. Just like in the karate school, just like in the dojo, you're learning everything from them. She implemented the policies of Joe Biden to the T in California, and that's why Joe Biden liked her. Even though she called Joe Biden pretty much a racist during the debates, she come back next and say, well, I don't think he's a racist. You know, I really got a little problem with this lady. I never was into her anyway. I know about her legislative record as district attorney, as prosecutor, as attorney general. Is not a stellar record. I know about her personal relationships and how she could care less about anybody who got in her way of her mission on climbing the political ladder. She did not care. Now, she didn't go as far as Clinton's did, but she got a fair share of doing some unquestionable things to reach to the top. But my people don't want to even sit there and admit it. They don't even want to look at it. They want to la 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 la. They don't want to. They don't want to hear none of that. And as soon as you start talking about that, they think you're trying to pull for the Republicans or pulling for Trump or whoever running for office. No. Remember the Rod Report? We used to say, well, the truth will set you free. Well, they actually say the truth will make you free, not set. Make is a permanent thing. Set is temporary. You can be put back in bondage. You can be set free and put back in bondage. But when you're made free, that's a whole different thing. I'm going to get into something that she had to say today. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Yeah, I had to look those pictures up. The White House today made a statement on, President Joe Biden made a statement on the occasion of World Press Freedom Day. In other words, this country is supposed to be pro-pressed, freedom of press, part of our Constitution. Anybody should be able to report. Anybody should be able to make a statement. Well, this is the statement of Joe Biden. He said 30 years ago, in the face of constant pressure and violence, African journalists, boy, he really got to come up to us and display us. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's talking about the African journalists that came and colonized the whole entire, pretty much, continent of Africa and used us and abused us and our resources to make them rich and wealthy. And the only reason they were allowed, the only reason they could do that is because they had the firepower when we didn't. That's why I am not for taking guns, away from people. But that's another story. I'm for guns taken away from certain people, but I'm not for guns taken away from everybody. You have a right to bear arms. That's part of our Constitution. Journalists came together to issue the Windhoek Declaration, which asserted that the establishment, maintenance, and fostering of an independent, pluralistic, and free press is essential. Go ahead, Joe Biden, is essential to the development of maintenance of democracy in a nation and for economic development. Then, as now, we celebrate the courage of truth tellers who refuse to be intimidated. We celebrate the courage of truth tellers who refuse to be intimidated. So you're saying you celebrate Chelsea Manning. You say you're celebrating Edward Snowden. You say you're celebrating Julian Assange and the whole network over there at his organization, WikiLeaks. You're celebrating, right? No, Hillary Clinton was jokingly saying, I wish we could just take a drone strike and take him out. Why? Because he had enough courage and had an ability to tell the truth about you and refused to be intimidated. Same thing with Edward Snowden, and they say looking at all your stuff. They're probably looking at me right now through my own webcam. Somehow, some way, we have allowed the American government to become Big Brother freely. We allowed it by purchasing cell phones that they could tap into and listen to your conversations. They could tap into your videos on your cell phone. Everybody, especially during this pandemic, have migrated to having video cameras in their house just for school, just for work. We've migrated to that point where everybody has ability for Big Brother to look into them. And yeah, I know you can put tape over and all that, but how do you know that's the only camera on your TV or on your computer? How do you know that there's nothing in these lights that work by Wi-Fi? Because I got a bunch of them. He says, celebrate the courage and truth tellers who refuse to be intimidated, often at great personal risk. Like, Jamal Jacob, I can't even say his name right. The guy who got murdered in Saudi Arabia. We don't want to talk about it. We suck so much from the breast of the Middle East that we don't want to even challenge them on it. Heck, Obama wouldn't even let us challenge the Middle East when they were proven to be involved with the 9/11 attacks in the 9/11 report. The Senate overwhelmingly voted for people to get compensation from the Saudi government, and he vetoed it. This man goes to meet up with his fiance, wife, or whatever, and they chopped him in pieces. A man who recently came to America and became an American citizen and started working on behalf of journalism for the American public. In this administration, bad enough the Trump administration was too much of a punk to deal with it. Now we got this administration that's too much of a punk to deal with it. But you celebrate the courage of truth teller who refused to be intimidated, often at great personal risk, and we reaffirm the timeless and essential role journalism and free media play in societies everywhere. So look here, fat. Joe Biden continues to say journalists uncover the truth. Well, we sure ain't got many in this country because they bought out, and thanks to people like you, thanks to people like the Republican RNC and the DNC, and you guys digging deep into buying off journalists and running their network and passing laws to make it easy for them to do the foolishness that they do, they don't uncover the truth. Rachel Maddow sent up that line through her teeth, nose, eyeballs, and behind about Russia. No proof, no evidence, just little lead stories. And then I started all again. But you talking about uncovering truth. Anybody who talked about your dealing in, it's okay to talk about Trump dealing with in Russia. Well, not Russia, but you know what I mean. Ukraine. But we can't talk about you and how you pretty much held up aid to the Ukrainian public unless they got somebody fired from their job. A prosecutor. Because it might lead to my son being involved. My crackhead, whoring, and sleeping around son. Now look, we all fall short of the glory of God, but that's just the way it was. A man who left his family and started whoring on Ashley Madison. I call it like it is. I'm sorry. I'm not a sugarcoat type of person. I've grown out of that. I used to be that in my 20s and 30s. I don't like to sugarcoat, but it is the way it is. That's what was happening with Hunter Biden. Snorting up cocaine left and right, and he admitted to the issues. He admitted to his problem. Even Joe admitted. So how you don't think that he could be doing something that was not worthy in Ukraine? Whoa, let's get on Trump. Let's get on Giuliani. Let's get on anybody on the red side, but let's don't touch anybody on blue side. I'm like, get on both of y'all. Don't matter to me. Journalists uncover the truth. Check the abuse of power. Well, they're not checking you. Edward Snowden was checking the entire government, the NSA. He had to flee off to Russia and Hawaii. God knows where he's at. Heck, Julian Assange was ramrolled for some fake rape charge. And he had to hide in the embassy. And then y'all still come into a safe haven and drag him out, courtesy of the English government via of the United States government. And y'all still want this guy hung, held dry. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, journalists and media workers have been on the front lines to keep the public informed at a significant risk of their own health. But yeah, you got reports about certain things that could help other than a virus, other than a vaccine. You shame that, you lie about that, you cover, you try to push that to the side, you label that as false information. When you got clearly thousands of people who've taken alternative treatment to COVID and survived way before we got a vaccine. Journalists and media workers have been on the front lines to keep the public informed at significant risk of their own health. And at the time when the truth is increasingly under attack, our need for accurate, fact-based reporting, open public conversation, accountability has never been greater. Problem I got with you, Joe, you got to let the journalists do what they do, and you got to let the public determine whether it's truth or not, because we can't expect you or any politician that's known for lying through your teeth all day, every day. You, Trump, you name it. Clinton, Obama, lie, to tell us what's truth and what's not. I saw a lady on the post talking about we need to do something about this misleading information. Let me tell you something, folks. Misleading information has been gone since the beginnings of the creation of mankind, if you're Bible believers like me. Yeah. Satan came and gave Eve some misinformation. And Adam didn't correct her. There was no fact checking or nothing like that. He knew what God said, but he didn't even take the time out to educate her on what God said. So he allowed a snake to come and educate her. Pretty much told everything. You could tell, you could say everything right, but just put one slight mislead of the truth and the whole thing is a lie. You can't legislate this type of stuff. Let journalists be journalists. Let reporters be reporters. Let freedom speech writers or whatever you want to call it, let them be what they be. It's up to the individual to do the fact checking, not the government, the individual. The individual. Yet he's going to say, at a time when the truth is increasingly under attack, who knows what's truth or not? You can't be the barter of truth or the God of truth. You don't know what's true or not. And you can't sit there and try to tell people what's true. People have to find out the truth on their own. It's like the preachers that say, hey, I got a Bible, believe everything I say. You better watch them preachers. You better watch them. You better get away from them. That's what happened to David Koresh. The people wasn't looking at the Bible themselves. They wasn't checking what to see whether it's true or not, what he was teaching is true or not. And most people in Christian society is the same way. Pastor preached real good this week. Well, what was he preaching on? I don't know, but it's good. You better get yourself together. You don't know what that man put in you. He could be telling the truth. He could be conning. But it's up to you to determine whether it's the truth or not by doing your own research, doing your own study, doing your own investigation. So at the beginning of the pandemic, people didn't want to listen to me, and YouTube was stifling me and messing with me and stuff like that because I had COVID and I found a way to get through it. This was way before we got a vaccine. What are we supposed to do? Not tell people? But no, they won't allow you to tell people. And if you did, they'll shut your channel down. Increasingly under attack. The truth is increasingly under attack. Get out of here. Our need for accurate, fact-based reporting, open public conversation, and accountability has never been greater. Hitler used that same bull crap. Government should not be determined trying to control what's truth and what's fact. That's the individual's duty to find out whether it's something true or not. If you are lazy, and the person who wants the government to do that, that's what you call lazy. I don't need you to tell me whether it's true or not. Y'all sitting here got millions of people on what they call a standard American diet, SAD, and you wonder why people are sad, sick, and afflicted, catching cancer, dying of heart attacks, strokes and stuff like that, because we allowed the American government to teach our kids, have our kids on that stuff, teaching health and nutrition in school, and it's all based on a sad diet. Not knowing there's all kind of diets out here that promotes health. Mediterranean, DASH diet. I myself, I'm on a pretty much plant-based diet. That has really brought me from on the brink to regular health. I'm nowhere near where I need to be, and I still need to lose some pounds, and I still need to work out, and I still need to continue to eat the way that I'm eating because everything was high. My blood pressure, my AOC, everything was high. I couldn't wait for the government to tell me the truth. I had to do my own research. So folks, if you're out there saying, look, we need to do something about the people who lied to us in this truth, how do you know they're lying to us if you haven't did the research? How do you know the person who you think telling the truth is not lying? The only way you're going to find out is you got to do the research. You got to find out. Out of 2 or 3 witnesses, according to the scriptures, everything is established. You need to get some witnesses. It's incumbent on all of us to counter these threats. So he went from freedom of journalists to dealing with individuals trying to stop journalists from telling what they believe is the truth. It is incumbent on all of us to counter these threats to a free and independent media, including physical risk and arbitrary detention. The commitment to protect journalists found that in 2020, a record number of journalists were imprisoned globally. Online abuse and harassments of journalists, particular women and here we go. Oh, Jesus, they gotta always put this crap in here. Particular journalists of color continues to increase. Authoritarians are striving to undermine the free press, manipulate the truth, or spread disinformation. Here we go. Even as shrinking news industry is creating more and more news deserts, areas where without local media around the world, these attacks are nothing less than a threat to democracy everywhere. So here we got Joe Biden, the president of the United States, make a speech on Press Freedom Day, telling you respect journalists and their freedom of press, but look, if they sound like they lying, if they're not going along with our program, or vice versa, if they're not going along with the Republican program, then we got to fact check them. And if the fact checkers who know, somebody need to check them. They're not the barbers or the arbitrary of truth. They're not the God of truth. Snopes, that's the guy. Y'all. We got lazy publication, lazy press like MSNBC, Fox News, News One, you name it. All these, they just throw stuff out there and people sit there and eat that stuff up instead of investigating for themselves, see if it's the truth or not. And Joe Biden said, look, we have to stick with what we determine the truth. We will determine what's truth or not. And we will let you know. That's pretty much what this is. Today on World Press Freedom Day. Well, you sure wasn't preaching world press freedom, because you're sitting up here telling people that you don't have the freedom to spread misinformation. Actually, it's called you have the freedom to spread information. It's up to you to determine whether it's misinformation or not. Because people been lying in the news all the freaking time. It's going to be a snowstorm. Man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The media is not the arbitrators of truth or the arbitrators of lie. They mix them both. So that's why you have to be the person to determine that. Today on World Press Freedom Day, we celebrate the fierce bravery of journalists everywhere. I guess you're talking about Edward Snowden. I guess you're talking about Julian Assange. I mean, come on, man. We recognize the integral role of free press plays in building prosperous, resilient, and free societies, and we recommit to protecting and promote free, independent, and diverse media around the world that goes along with our agenda. That ain't what he said, but he might as well just said it. Yeah, he might as well just said it. Well, I tell you, in this country, freedom of press is so important. That's why if you are on the streets and you got cell phones and you see stuff going on in the street, I don't care if it's the cop, you pull that sucker out, just in case. You have freedom to videotape. You literally become the press. You can videotape it. Don't be putting on, recording it on no, put it on Facebook Live, Twitter, whatever. Go straight live and say, smile, officer, you're live, because if your camera ain't going to work, mine's is. Now, I know some of y'all scared. I don't want to agitate the police, man. They may come get me. Some things are worth risking your life for. That's the problem now. People are so freaking fearful and scared, and I get it. I get that way too. But sometimes you just gotta say, man, forget this. You're gonna have to kill me. Ain't no way I'm sitting here and let a man put a knee on a man's neck. I got the nurse. Y'all saw the videos. The nurse saying, yo, he don't look right. Let me get in here. I'm gonna get in here anyway, whether you like it or not. You're just gonna have to shoot a nurse who's trying to see if this man is all right. Or lock me up. We got to stop being punks and pacifists. We got to become our own journalists. See, the government don't want people like us. But we have the freedom of press. But they want to say we will determine what's factual or not. But let me get back to this because I'm not done. Because here's Madam VP. This is what she had to say. Madam VP. Listen, make sure this is very, 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 very clear. A press is critical democracy. Kissing Joe behind. She always copy and paste Joe Biden. She ain't gonna buck up against Joe Biden or anybody. On this World Press Freedom Day, we recognize the courage of journalists around the world. So tell me, Madam Vice President, are you saying about that, about Snowden? And don't get me wrong, these are the most prominent ones, but there's a lot of journalists that's in jail for some stupid stuff. If you've been watching Status Quo, the police, one brother asked, just asking the question, how do you feel about this? Black police. In Elizabeth City, I know Elizabeth City, man. I mean, I told you I used to hang down there. How do you feel about this, sir? Tell me what's on your mind. Tell me what's on your heart. Giving the officers the ability to talk. No, there's so much robot mode, and you better get out of here before I arrest you. You want to be arrested? You want to be arrested? Folks, stop being... Now, I could talk that talk. But come on. You got to get some courage. You can say, yeah, if you can arrest me for having the freedom to ask questions as the press and you want to arrest me, go for it, son, because I will file suit against your behind. Stop letting these people punk you. You have laws on the book that you can execute them. That's why I'm so for people having access to legal protection programs and legal services, because most people don't have representation. They have to wait till they get in trouble to have representation. I got representation now. Right now, if somebody want to mess with me, I can call my representation right now. I have an app on the phone. I tap the button right now. But when I feel like something ain't right, some cops about to follow me, I'm getting my attorney on the phone. And the attorney will be on the phone. Rob, you must got a lot of money. No, that's a program out here. People been laughing at, thinking don't work. I've been using this stuff for almost over 10 years. You got to stop being punks. Yeah, I'm sitting up here watching Status Quo. I love Status Quo. I love watching them. I love the reporting on the ground right there. Because you don't get that from MSNBC. You don't get that from CNN and none of these, or Fox and none of these punk organizations. Nobody at Fox went to Elizabeth City reporting from New York. Now, Jordan up here with me in New York. I need to get with him one day and we get together. But no, that brother been reporting. He got people on the ground down there. Heck, if I ain't have somewhere to be this weekend, Mother's Day, spend some time with family, I will try to make a trip down there. I got to go down there anyway because I got some business to do for us, my videography business. But I will be down there. What do you mean? Do I want to go to jail? Who wants to go to jail, officer? What you talking about? I mean, if it's a crime for you to arrest me for asking you questions as a press, then bro, I wish you would arrest me. Robbie, you and talk to that? Man, you gotta stand bold. We recognize the courage of journalists around the world, and we recommit ourselves to protecting and promoting a free and independent press everywhere. Of course, I put down there, misinformation has been with us since the beginning. This is the talking point of a person who never confirms themselves. With the info, they hear themselves. They want someone to do it for them. Just do not believe what you hear. Verify if it's true yourself. And that's my whole point. You cannot control people from lying to you, whether it's from the pulpit, whether it's from, the Oval Office, whether it's from a police press stand or whatever. You can't control people from lying to you. And you can determine whether they're lying to you or not, and you determine whether you want to buy into it or not. That's nobody else's job but yours. Nobody else's job but yours. But look at some more up here. What's the meaning of fresh freedom? Somebody put Donald Trump up here. New BLM demand to seek permanent ban Trump from all digital meters. You know, I mean, to me, I'm not for banning people from media. I know y'all, a lot of people we got to ban these liars. You're not going to get rid of liars. We can stop their lies from getting out. You're going to wear yourself out trying to stop from being lying. Just got to smarten up, man. Because you go this route, then it'll turn your back. It'll turn on you. Here I am. I'm trying to tell people what I did to beat COVID and telling people, look, maybe it'll help you. Check with your doctor. But most of the stuff you can get off the counter. It helped me. I'm not saying it's a cure. I'm saying the right thing. I'm not saying it's a cure, but it did help me. It did help subside my symptoms. And it did, and trying to share it with people. And I did, and people got better as a result of it. They didn't have to go through that strain of the flu symptoms and stuff like that. People got better, so I only told what I was, but they was ready to shut me down. All right, so somebody said, really? Then why is Julian Assange still in prison for exposing? That's the same thing I'm saying. And then somebody put on he went to jail because he skipped bail when he ran in Ecuador embassy to avoid rape charges. But your story sounds better. Get out of here. I'm getting out of my but we can go over these, but you go over there. I ain't got time to go over this stuff. But yeah, it's crazy. Here's free Assange. Really? You recognize the courage of journalists? Look, guys, I'm sorry. I honestly believe, just like I did with people in Trump administration, Kamala Harris is a bad actress or actor. When she first went in office, she went to bidding for her Indian/Asian people. But she loved to pull out, I'm black, I'm black, I'm black. And black people just love to hell her and on the levels of Harriet Tubman, on the levels of, so many great black women. I don't. See, Shirley Chisholm didn't imprison and run down my black brothers and sisters in California and try to cover for the cops and was not for body cams because she didn't want the truth to come out like they doing in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. She was doing the same thing that they were doing. She is not my black hero. There's way more better black heroes than her. Same person, y'all sitting over here mocking her because she sat there, because Tim Scott told me America is not a racist country, and she uttered the same freaking words. And some of y'all sitting up here, oh, it's okay. She mean it. Nah, she meant it exactly like that. Don't let the Howard University fool you. She's all day Brahmin Indian, the upper echelon of Indian society that look down on dark-skinned Indians. You did your own investigating, you know the truth that her mom was hurt because her dad left. Now, why the daddy left? I don't know. I'm not for leaving my spouse unless for it got to be a real, real good reason. Stay with your family. But she was running her mouth on daddy so bad that she packed up and left California to get them kids away from daddy, who happened to be one of the smartest economists in the country, in the world. Famous. Her grandfather in India, famous in India, famous diplomat in India. Still part of that Brahmin society, look down on dark-skinned Indians. Y'all get a chance, y'all go see comedian Godfrey and his response to the Kamala Harris and Tim Scott. He had me rolling, but everything he said is true. See, I didn't vote for her. I'm not voting for bigots. I'm not voting for bigots' handlers. A bigot handler is somebody that aids the bigot in instituting his position or his policies that's going to hurt my people. And I'm not going to buck up against it because I need the power. I may be next in line. I need the power. Well, Rod, she take that power and she going to do something for us. Man, stop that. That ain't never happened. You thought Joe Biden was going to do that when you got him elected. You thought Obama was going to do that. You thought Bill Clinton was going to do that. Yeah, I mean, nobody's doing that. You got to take your own power. You got to kind of make them tap out, submit. But yeah, it's World Journalist Day. And it won't be in the next 7 minutes. But it's World Journalist Day. Yeah, we got our president and vice president, staking their claim of how they support journalists, support journalism. Unless we feel like you're lying. And if we're feeling like you're working with another government or you're spreading some misinformation, we ain't for you. Lock you up, throw you in the jail, throw away the key. And if we can, we'll take you somewhere and let somebody kill you and say that they didn't kill you and that we ain't had nothing to do with it. I don't know what happened. It's a sad day. I don't know what happened to that person. Oh, it's sad. You know, we was trying to get him prosecuted. I mean, they put Julian Assange in the cell jail. I mean, in a jail where people was rampant with COVID. You don't think that was by design? No, but that man catch COVID. The man he's in a position where he's unhealthy. You know, I don't talk about Julian Assange much, or more people dealing with lack of press freedom from our own federal government. But maybe I need to talk more. I usually leave that to my people over there, you know, because we all ain't got to sing the same tune. But I use that over at Nico House and you know, Mikasa Sukasa and Pasta and at the Convo Couch. And man, they killing it over there with the free Assange vigils and things like that. We got countries who recognize people who lay their life down for the sake of getting the truth out. To the point that some of them are dead, some are still alive, but they're in exile. Or some of them are still alive and they had to run to get clemency, some kind of protection. Edward Snowden one. Monuments go up to these guys in other countries, but this country want to make a mockery out of them, want to shame them, want to say they're liars and they're not for the truth. Heck, even Obama had the guts to let Chelsea Manning out of jail for telling the freaking truth about double tapping. Our soldiers were sitting up there pretty much doing a live video game, live streaming at that. Before Twitch and all that. These guys was live streaming, murdering innocent people. Somebody get the guts to report the bad things that go in our country, and he looks, and they want us to shame them and look at them as criminals. And the sad part coming from the so-called pro-people party. I'm done with that story. Let me go to the next one. Give me a second. I'm gonna let this play a little bit while I pull up the next story.
Make it to the bathroom while I use my towel all over myself.
All right, guys, thank you for holding there. Before I go further, thank you, Donna, for being on. Donna, you're the only person that says my audio is too low. Everybody else said my audio is decent enough. So let me try this again. Anybody believe my audio is too low? Hello, Karen. Hello, Laura Dell. Ace the Lock. Lana Dell. Ace the Lock. Ace the Clock. Okay. How are you? All right. So let me get into this. And while I get into this next story, let me know if my mic is low. Okay. Now, recently, we had a power couple, billionaire juggernauts, tag team on the COVID vaccine, making sure that they fund poor people to get it. Why is this vaccine costing money anyway? Now, let me tell you something. I'm not anti-vax. I've been anti this vaccine, but I have to tell the truth. The numbers are there. As of right now, nobody has died after they've taken the first two vaccines. And some people with some blood clots, but no, according to the numbers. So far, so good with the first two vaccines. We had to take the two shots. We already know the situation with Johnson & Johnson. I never trust Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson got all kind of issues. Why would you trust the same people that make cotton for your ears and diapers that shoot stuff in you? I don't understand that. But the other two, Pfizer and all that, they're known to pump drugs into people to help them get better temporarily most of the time. But nevertheless, the studies are there, and so far, so good. The chances of you catching COVID is low. The chances of you dying, going to the hospital and getting on a ventilator and dying of COVID is almost unheard of. So far, so good. Do that mean I'm going to tell people go out there and take it? No, you're grown people. You got to come to that decision yourself. I understand if you decide not to take the vaccine. I can understand. Vaccine, they want you to think is the only solution. And if you want to believe that, that's up to you. That's not me. I'm not convince you. I'm not going to convince you that it's not, and I'm not going to convince you it is. That's your decision. I've seen people post stuff about Joe Rogan and what he said about vaccine. I mean, look, mostly, truthfully speaking, most young people are pretty good. They're not gonna if they catch it, because believe me, I know 2 girls close to me end up having it, young girls, but they pressed on through. Again, as usual, I told them and told the mom about the stuff I used to help me, and I said the same thing. It helped me. It may help you. It's not a cure, but it helped me. And when long I was back to normal. It might help you. Talk to your doctor, but most of this stuff, it's not hard. So again, let me get off that. Let's get into this story about Bill and Melinda Gates. They're making a big deal out of this stuff. Like white rich people don't get divorced. Man, white rich people get divorced. Look, let me tell you something. You got broke people, black, white, Native American, Asians, that get divorced at a 50% rate because they don't know how to lay their life down for one another. They don't know how to say, look, I'm here to serve you, and vice versa. You know, that's the key to marriage, key to long-lasting relationship. You know what kills marriage? Selfishness. That kills marriage. Selfishness. Me. You haven't done this for me. You haven't done that for me. But if both people outdo loving one another, you'll never. If both person focus on out loving one another, you'll never see a divorce. But the moment you slip out, that's why in my other show, Winning with Love, I tell people, you just sow seeds. Don't expect nothing in return. I know that's hard. But if you sow the seed, other things will water it for the manifestation to come. If you focus on what they're going to give you in return, you're going to get frustrated. And then you, not them, not time, you going to get frustrated and leave. But let me stop there. They've been together a long time. They've been together a long, long time. And people say, what's going on with them? Life. You got to understand who Bill Gates is, number one. This is one of the most meticulous, methodical men you ever met in your life. Now, I've heard he don't like his food touching each other. I've heard that everything is closet got to be crisp and neat and in order. He's so full of what you call OCD. The guy's OCD and all that kind of stuff, and it's hard to really live with those people unless you learn how to love those type of people. The guy is meticulous and methodic as they come. And imagine being married to that. And look, and I'm not even talking about her because maybe she got her issues too. My whole point is that true love denies themselves and serve. But the key is the person who you plan on doing that, they must come to the conclusion that they got to be the same way. The moment you get into meism, sooner or later you're going to get a divorce. Because meism is a seed that leads to divorce. Look, I've been married twice. And honestly speaking, I never gave up on my relationship. It was the meism. Robert, you ain't doing this for me. Robert, why don't you do that? Why don't you do this for me? Get out of that. Get out of that. You just focus on me. Let me focus on me. Now, am I at fault for my bad relationships? Yeah. Because I let selfishness get in. Selfishness is the killer of all relationship. But let's get into this story about Bill and Melinda Gates. Now, look, Bill broke her off. Bill Gates transferred $1.8 billion in stocks to Melinda on day of divorce, according to the news. Hey, that's a good divorce settlement right there. $1.8 billion. Honestly speaking, he owed her more than that. She's been there since the jump. She's helped him launch the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, were their primary structure after he stepped down from Microsoft. That is what they pushed. Now, they claim that Bill is in a relationship with somebody else that was close to them both. But look, these billionaires, man, you know, it's one thing to be a billionaire and you get a divorce and be broke. But $1.8 billion? $1.8 billion? Man, I take the divorce for $1.8 billion. Are you crazy? No, let me stop. I'll try to work on my marriage, man, because as the song says, it's cheaper to keep her. That boy, cheaper to keep her. Gates transferred $1.8 billion in stocks to Melinda on the day of divorce. Bill Gates' investment firm transferred the money to Melinda the same day the couple announced their separation after 27 years of marriage. Now, who knows? 27 years is a long time. There's such thing as constructive separation and separation. See, a constructive separation is when it's getting to the point where you're so toxic that you got to separate each other and you go get counsel. You seek help. Problem is, most people don't want to do that. And knowing the brainiac and methodic person that Bill Gates is, he probably think he know more than the counselor. I'm Bill Gates. I built this. I did that. Who are you to tell me how to live my life? Cascade Investment, a holding company that the Microsoft co-founder formed to manage much of his financial assets, transferred more than 14 million shares of Canadian National Railway to Melinda. Wow. Gates on Monday, according to the securities filing. On the same day, the firm transferred more than 2.9 million shares to AutoNation to Melinda Gates a separate filing show. Yo, man, you know, I had a chance to get that stock when it was like $3. $3. Hey, ain't nobody gonna be doing no AutoNation and using stuff like that to buy cars. People like to go drive their cars and test their cars out and ride them down and say, yeah, I'll take it out. Oh, no, I won't. People ain't doing nothing through no computer. Man, I was wrong. Man, I'm hurting. On Wednesday, stock prices from Canadian National Railway Holdings are worth more than $1.5 billion, and the share of AutoNation, Fort Lauderdale, Florida-based firm that sells cars, are valued at $300 million. That's a happy divorce settlement. I know it hurts. Oh, I'm losing the one family, the one that's been there with me for 27 years. Oh, I'm losing her. I'm losing my husband. Oh, I'm losing the one of the smartest men in the world. But I'm getting over $1 billion, baby. I'll recover. Oh, you know, Bill Gates going to be just like, what's his name? If they get a divorce, just because you're separated don't mean you're going to get a divorce. It means it may lead in a divorce. But a lot of people get separated because they just need to separate. And they end up getting back together and be better than ever. So who knows? But what I'm saying is this ain't new. This ain't news. Rich white people been getting divorced since day one. Hey, rich black people get divorces. Getting a divorce is not a color thing. Now, how much in percentage the divorce might be a color thing. But getting a divorce is not a color thing. The transfers are among the first indications of how one of the world's wealthiest couple will go about divvying up their assets as they separate. Look, just cause we're sitting up here assuming, just cause they're separated and just cause she asks for her fair share, doesn't mean it's going to end up in divorce. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they get back together. I mean, I would be surprised if they get back together because, honestly speaking, Bill Gates is an egomaniac. And she probably grown to be an egomaniac too because she ran a lot of part of his organization. She wasn't a sit at home, take care of the kids type of wife. She was very active in the business and very active in the philanthropy. Matter of fact, she led much of the philanthropy. Bill Gates was just a smiling face who pops up when she needs him. So who knows? Instead, the two have signed a separate contract for divvying their property and possessions, but the terms of that agreement have not been publicly disclosed in court documents. Cascade Investments, which reportedly managed a whopping $30 billion of Gates' personal financial holdings, will be one of the key assets to watch. Another important asset category at stake is the couple's ownership of American farmland. Listen to this. Now, this the part kind of ticked me out because we black people was promised 40 acres and a mule. If you don't know what that is, that means you had enough to start a thriving, prosperous business that can lead you into millions for decades to come. Bill Gates owned 270,000 acres, 422 square miles of land across more than a dozen states. Wow. Oh boy, Chinese, these business news. CNN got a nerve to report Chinese can't stop talking about the Bill and Melinda Gates divorce. Why y'all, what kind of, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Dang, Susan Rice. Hot dog. I mean, not Susan Rice, but Carmelisa Rice. Wow, sister, god dog. This is making the news. People are shocking on like Iraq was when we dropped bombs on them. I am not shocked. When people get famous, wealthy, and rich, more problems develop, just like when you're not famous and rich. Now, they could go through a nasty divorce, but I guess they came to terms. Hey, man, let me tell you something. Bill Gates is so methodical. He already planned that stuff out 10 years ago. Listen here. All right, he probably got a prenup the whole 9 yards. This company been existing for a long time. Microsoft been in business for a long time before Melinda Gates and him got married. They've been in business for a while. So he already had a plan that if you leave me, you getting this. That's what I probably would do. Hey, baby, I'm telling you, I hit that kind of money. Sorry, got to get a prenup. I'm getting a prenup. I'm that methodical. I'm prenupping your behind. I'm sorry. We gonna come to agreement before we get the rings on. I'm sorry. If I got that kind of money, I want a prenup before I get the money. Because people, man, that man worked his butt off. Now, she probably provided emotional support. Don't get me wrong. As she came into the picture and began to get side by side with these foundations, man, that was a beautiful thing. But for as Microsoft and the development of the Xbox and a whole bunch of other campaigns that he had when he was CEO, pretty much him and his team, and one of the guys who helped launch that was a guy by Jeff Bell, and you look Jeff Bell up. He's the guy who's actually foreseeing the program that I was talking about that provide legal services in emergency situations that I'm going to be talking about on my other show on Money Making Mondays on another channel. But folks, that's no news. People get divorced all the time. Of course, they're going to be giving up money. $1.8 billion. Good gracious, boy. I mean, that man, I can't, my heart ain't hurting for him, man. My heart ain't hurting for Melinda. My heart ain't hurting for Bill. It's just not. Because at the end of the day, they get a divorce. They rich. They can go start a new life. They really ain't got to fight over no asset. She getting $1.8 billion right off the top. She got land galore. She got railroad tracks. So she ain't hurting. That's for, you're going to be all right. See, in my neighborhood, somebody get a divorce, like, you going to be okay? That Negro left you, and you've been taking care of all them kids. You ain't been working, and then now you got to go out there and get a job. You ain't never had a job since you was in high school. Now you got to go out and work, and you done spent most of your life letting that man get all the education and going to school and all that kind of stuff. And now he's making all this money, and now he done found a young tenderoni and cheated on you with this young tenderoni, and he leaving you and the kids hanging dry. Hey, now that ain't the same, man. I gotta take care of these kids on my own. Bad enough he had kids with this young tenderoni that she didn't know about. But anyway, let me get out the story. Whoop-de-doo. Bill Gates getting a divorce. And both of them coming out richer than rich. All right, guys, give me one more moment. I got another story I want to talk about.
Make it to the bathroom while I use my towel all over myself.
right, guys, I am back. My last story of today. Hope you guys are doing okay. First off, before I go any further, just want to let you know I appreciate everybody that take their time out to watch the show. I don't take this lightly. I believe it's a blessing. I would do this show if nobody was on, because I'm a person of faith. I got to believe. You got to step out on the things that you expect to happen, and everything will happen as you step out. That's just how I am. So, and I'm encouraging you, if there's something that you want to do, don't wait for the results to come. Step out and continue to step out. The results gonna come. The results gonna come. And I'm rebuilding this channel, and I am going to talk about issues. I am going to talk about life issues, but I'm going to talk about the whole thing. I'm going to talk about media. I'm talking about entertainment news, sports news. I'm gonna have a Karen of the week like I used to do. And I got a lot of those. I just didn't have time to do it today. But nevertheless, I do want to tell you that I appreciate you guys being on the show. Let me go to this story because this is sad. So as you know, Derek Chauvin, the man who put his knee on somebody's neck till they died, a man who crushed somebody's windpipe, a man who had no remorse for somebody who was already paranoid because he already knew how it usually goes if the police stop you. A Chauvin juror participated in 2020 march in Washington. Is it grounds for an appeal? 2020. Chauvin jury participated in 2020 march on Washington. Is it grounds for appeal? Brandon Mitchell, y'all already know the story, said the march he attended last summer was 100% not for George Floyd. A jury in the trial of Derek Chauvin, a former Minneapolis police officer convicted of murdering George Floyd, participated in last summer's march on Washington. A move that is coming under scrutiny that after Chauvin's attorney requested a new trial on several grounds, including jury misconduct. Look, y'all need to stop this foolishness, man. I've been to the Million Man March. I've been to a couple of them. I go to rallies out here all day. So if you're a police officer and you convict and you end up murdering somebody under your instruction, you try and tell me I'm not fit to sit on a jury of your peers? Man, you realize all the different people that sits on the jury of the peers of black men and women who's accused of some of everything from stealing pork chops to kidnapping a kid? Man, it don't be nobody that's part of their peer. And, you'll never get somebody that's like you mostly. Maybe one or two of them. Most of them gonna be white, live in the suburb, and that's that. And you wonder why our conviction rates are a little more higher than everybody. And the moment they see us, they prejudge us. Look at his hair. He got hair like them thugs. Look at them tattoos. He looked like he probably, yeah, he did it. He did it. No, bruh. Majority of the people found you guilty because you put your knee on the neck for somebody and put your hands in your pocket at that. Then you gotta have your little Asian buddy up there. And don't get me wrong, if it was a black guy doing the same thing, I'd be on his behind too. Just gonna stand there making sure that nobody interferes. Then you got an MMA fighter. Please get your knees off the man's neck. Please, man, what's wrong? Just talking instead of trying to stop. You got the nurse who said, look, I can see something that's not right with this guy. Let me check on him. You refuse to let her check on him. So, bro, don't come there. I don't even have to read this freaking article. Let me bring myself back up. Let me tell you something, because this pissed me off. First of all, you knew the dude. Second of all, you two bumped into each other in the club before. Third, Let me tell you something. George Floyd was a built man. Former basketball player, as you can see, he was stock. He had muscles. He worked out. So I get it. Y'all don't know how y'all gonna take this big black man down. At least you try to get him in the car. The other fool over there in Oklahoma saw the pastor of a church. That big fellow looked like he's dangerous, and they kill him. The man was complying and they killed him. For them to try to get this thing overturned over some foolishness because one person probably went to a freaking march. Whoop-de-doop-de-doo. Nobody, the march isn't why somebody convicted your behind Chauvin. You putting your knee on somebody's neck until they calling out for their mama because they dying and they fading off. That caused you to be convicted. And your buddies who were standing right next to you should have got the same sentence, and you still got off light. Because, guys, I told you before, there's no first degree murder. It was second degree and homicide, blah, 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 blah. And in Minnesota, first time offender, you're not going to do half of the time that you expect to get. So if you're doing 12, you're going to do 6. You're doing 24, you're going to do 12. And 9 times 10, if you're a cop, you're not going to be in general pop. You're going to be in a different area where you got it bougie. You ain't got to worry about nobody from general population taking you out. You get to go to the yard all by your freaking self with other crooked cops. But you'll never be in the yard with the people who you've been arrested. So Derek Chauvin getting off easy. And now he actually wants to try to overturn because one person in the jury went to a freaking march. Most black people that's in a jury probably went to a freaking march. Guys, if they let this thing happen, every cop, every bigot, every white supremacist that murders somebody gonna use, you gotta throw this out, man, for reasonable doubt because, that guy went to a Black Lives Matter event. Who gives a crap? You probably went to a White Lives Matter event. You probably went to a Blue Lives Matter event. What they got to do with anything? Probably went to a KKK rally. What they got to do with anything? You're not being arrested because you went to a KKK rally. You're not in jail because you went to a KKK rally. You're in jail because you put your knee on the neck of somebody and watched them die. And people tried to tell you were hurting this guy and you didn't give a crap about it. So miss me with this freaking mess that, he went to a march. Who gives a crap? But hey, they're going to try to find some way to overturn this conviction because he's finally getting prosecuted. I don't know what's wrong with these people today. You sat there and put your knee on the back of somebody's neck until he died. You knew he was dying. You felt it in your knees. For some reason, it gave you empowerment. This fool had his hands in his pocket murdering this dude. And the other guy standing next to him allowed it, and they didn't get the same thing for it. Let me tell you something. I'm hanging out with my boy Chuck. Me and Chuck goes in the grocery store. Rob, wait for me, man. I'll be right back, man. I'm going in and get a beer, cigarette, Newports. I can talk about that. I'm not. He comes out, go, get in the car, go. I'm like, go what? Go. Then I see he got a gun. Now, am I going, man, what the? I'm afraid to even say what happened. If we get caught, even though I did not endorse that, if he killed the people in the store, whatever he did in that store, I'm going to get the same thing. The same sentence. Probably a little more because I drove the getaway car. And I wasn't driving a getaway car. I was just following instructions because I see this dude with a gun. And my boy ain't always right all the time. Sometimes he's a loose cannon. Sometimes I had to deal with that fool. What do you expect me to do? I would still get the same time, if not more. And it ain't had nothing to do with that crime. These people sat there and watched Derek Chauvin kill a person, his own brothers in blue. They zipped it and threw away the key under the blue code. And they didn't get the same sentence. It ain't got nothing to do with where they marched. It's you. And while I'm at it, let me go to one more thing I got to say, and then I'm done. Don't even want to read this article. Ticks me off. File a motion for a new trial, alleging jury misconduct. Are you freaking kidding me? Get out of here. All right, here's one. This is from Newsweek, March 2nd, 2021. 181 black people have been killed by police since George Floyd's death. 181 black people have been killed by police since George Floyd's death. And y'all want to holler at me about, I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong. Asian hate is horrible. And I sympathize with that community. But there's less, the ratio of assault is way higher than the ratio of murders. Now, I can go into the FBI website and you can look at all this document about hate crime, the statistics, and they'll tell you, in 2019, race was reported for 6,406 known hate crimes, offenders of these offenders. 52% was white. These are the people who committed the crime. So half the people committing the hate crimes is white. 23% were black and African Americans. That's not even half of what white. But nobody's talking about white. 6.6 were groups made up of individuals of various race groups of multiple races. Now let me go to this 23.9% black. And let's go back to the topic. Offenders. These are the people who committed hate crimes, according to this report. Not defenders, offenders. Mostly white people. Second black. 6% were groups made up of individuals of various race groups. 1.1 was American Indian and Alaskan Natives. 0.9%. Now, going back to this, you always have to look at the motive of a crime. A lot of crimes get pinned on us. I go into the beauty parlor or I go into the nail salon, let's say some Asian nail salon, and I tell you don't cut my nails. And, of course you get comfortable, you get all in the massage chair, they're working on your foot, they're working on your hair. And you come to, you ain't got no more nails. Of course you're going to be hot. Black women, boy, they don't play that when it comes to their nails. They cuss them out. Tell them, look, I shouldn't have to pay for none of this. I ain't paying for jack. Cuss them out and walk out. They'll call that a hate crime. I can't believe she said this to me. They'll call that a hate crime. Here's another statistic. This is from the FBI. You got to go look at these statistics yourself. They'll tell you that most of these crimes happen by the people in your own neighborhood. Nobody's traveling to your neighborhood to get you. So if you live in a black neighborhood, of course it's going to be black on black crime. You live in an Asian neighborhood, it's going to be mostly Asians that's doing that. But they don't want you to think that. I mean, I can go through these statistics this is from the FBI. From the FBI. Get some time out and take some time and go over this stuff. They have the data there. They say there were 3,800 anti-Asian racist incidents, mostly against women in the past year. Now you got to understand, Asians stem from Muslim countries, from Indian countries, all the way to what they call the Far East. Asia take up a huge region of that area. 3,800 anti-racist incident. They didn't say murder. They didn't say murder, anti-racist incident. Usually some dumb fool trying to rob you. Some dumb fool just drunk probably want to get in a fight. Some dumb fool just probably that is racist and just want to start stuff. Ain't got the guts to kill you, but he just want to fight because he's tired of y'all coming in here to the country and, you know, you phasing us out. Let me go back to this. But since George Floyd, 181 black people have been killed by police since his death. But you don't hear about that in the news. But yeah, let's go ahead and vote majority for Asian hate crime bill. And let's get on the one person who voted no. Let's lay him out. Let's whoop his behind. Let's flog him and hang him. Let's do it. But with the George Floyd bill, so many people voted against that bill. So many people voted against that bill. You push harder and harder, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and all these numbnuts politicians on the left and the right. You push hard, bodyguard hard, just to get a Asian crime bill passed. And you lobbied and humiliated and mocked, and you were really willing to put them into a public spectacle cage to be shamed, flogged, if they didn't vote for it. But you can't do that for the George Floyd bill. Now, don't get me wrong. That bill doesn't have enough teeth. It's a weak bill. It's not strong. It don't have no bite. But at least it's there. Congressional Black Caucus is supposed to be leading this thing, and if they fail, they're gonna say, well, I guess we failed. Blah, 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 blah. What else can we do? What else can we do? Man, you go back in there and make a stronger bill, and you start threatening your power to vote in the next election if these politicians don't sign on to that bill. That's what you do. You stop being a punk and start using your power as leverage to force these people to vote for this bill. The Asians did it. Like I said, Tammy Duckworth and all that, they may be Democrats, but they only going to show your allegiance via the way you show allegiance to them. The Asian community don't show no allegiance. They're not siding with Republicans or Democrats. If you look at the numbers on Asians who actually voted for Democrat and the Asians that voted for Republican, you're going to see pretty much the same thing. Not much. Why? Because they got a code. They got an agenda. If you ain't doing nothing for the Asian community, then don't ask me to vote for you, or if you do make it, don't ask me to appoint nobody to work with you. Don't ask me unless we can get these things done. You get these things done, then we'll talk. Tammy Duckworth did that. And look how fast the Asian bill went through. Like hot knife on the butter. Hot spoon and ice cream. They did more concerning Asian protection in less than a year than what we've done in over 20 years. That's a shame. Let me go back to this. 181 black people been killed by police since George Floyd's death. Joe Biden could talk about the millions of people being vaccinated, but he won't talk about this. Nobody is talking about this. Since George Floyd's death last May while in Minneapolis police custody, 181 black people in the U.S. have been killed by the police, according to data from a research group mapping police violence. Now imagine how many people been killed since the verdict. Well, I think we already got 5 so far. It's like a weekly thing. 1 or 2 people getting killed by the cops since the Derek Chauvin verdict. Police killing the white victims made up 37% of the total death, White Americans are 76.3% of the population, the Census Bureau say. So just think about it. 181. There have been 966 police killings. But they only say 181 black people have been killed. The point is, whether it's 118 or 181, black people are still being killed by police officers. Let me talk to you for a second, then I'm done. I get it. White supremacy has labeled this virus, they're trying to pin it on Asians. Attacks been happening. Mighty funny, the attacks that's been happening with black people seem like the same thing. The color of their outfit and everything seem like that just don't sit right with me. Tariq Nasheed talked about that. That don't sit right with me either. We get attacked by numbnuts too. I mean, we gonna whoop their behind. You better catch us alone by ourselves, because we gonna whoop your behind if we ain't play that. And you're supposed to protect your community. I ain't got no problem with Asians protecting their community, or Italians protecting their community, blacks protecting their community. Overprotecting your communities, that's a different story. To the point that I can't come to your neighborhood and hang out with some, now that's stupid. That's going back into racism now. It's not your neighborhood, boy. Bro, you don't own this neighborhood. Just because you're predominantly Italian or black, or don't mean you own the neighborhood. But I get it. You're going to protect people in your neighborhood if they're being assaulted. I get it. But don't look at me like I'm the assaulted one. And that's what they're doing. They're trying to make it seem like the Asian assaults attacks been happening with blacks. I mean, the moment we start talking about reparation and police violence and police overreach and police murder, and we need to change the laws to criminalize them, then all of a sudden these other talking points started popping up. Now people are attacking Asians left and right, and that's wrong. But they don't talk about the people who are attacking us. And they're not interested in talking about the people who's attacking us. We talking about the people who's killing us, primarily our protectors, the people who's supposed to protect and serve us. We're talking about them. Nobody wants to talk about that. We have to keep putting up articles like that to say this is an epidemic. This is an epidemic. If we don't put any brakes on it, if we don't start putting pressure on it, if we don't start letting these politicians know that, look, bruh, you're my enemy. I don't care if you got a D or R. If you're not doing anything to deal with this police mess, to start putting police in check, criminalize, don't come with no bill like the Tim Scott foolishness. I think we need to punish the department. You punish the department, you punish the, look, all of them are good ideas. Punish the department, you punish the cops, you take money from their pension, you take money from, because that's what they'll do if you do something stupid on the job that's not killing black people. There's many ways. More importantly, you need to put them in jail. You commit the crime, you got to do the time. If I commit the crime, I got to do the time. You commit the crime, you got to do the time. I don't care who you are. It's supposed to be equal society. It's supposed to be America, boy. America, yeah. Equal rights. And then start doing it. 189 people been killed, black people been killed since George Floyd. Since the verdict, I can imagine about at least 10 people. And they're just not talking about it. Usually Tim Black talk about it a lot. And I usually tell people, go watch other people's show. Me, I'm not a person that wants to preach on top of somebody else's message. If the message is good, I'm going to tell you, go listen to it. Like I told you to go listen to Information Man's show. What he did last Saturday, I believe. Sunday. He nailed it. Tim Black on the Derek Chauvin case. Why I'm going to try to cover that. He got it. And I would tell you to go watch him. I'm not Mr. Know-It-All, as you could tell. And I'm not going to somebody doing a better job. I got to sit there and try to act like I'm Jordan Cherry. I'm not Jordan Cherry, Jimmy Dore, nobody. I only can be me. And this was right ridiculous. 180. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody talking about we need to do something to stop this. We got to stop this. We only have the president going out there saying it's despicable and it hurts the fabric of America. No, it's not despicable to you because you actually laid down the foundation for this kind of crap to happen through that crime bill. You, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, majority of Republicans that's claiming they're against you when they're not really against you. And matter of fact, you're actually for them. You're acting like you're against them when you're not. You're really right alongside with them. But you got to put that front up. I get it, man. You can't expose, you got to look like FDR when you're really Ronald Reagan. Oh, you and Ronald Reagan men boys. I mean, man, guys, don't be buying into the Joe Biden, the Kamala Harris, just like don't buy into the Donald Trump and Mike Pence. He's a strong Christian man, and that's why I'm supporting this ticket. Man, I ain't buying that ticket, man. Dude is still allowing genocide to happen in all these other proxy wars. Fine Christian man. That's why I fell out with a lot of these TV preachers. I'm like, dude, come on. Can't get with you on that stuff. Anyway, I'm done, guys. It is 12:45. We're over an hour. So, look, I appreciate you staying on the. Let me see if I got any more stories to talk about. Give me a moment. Want to make sure I hit everything. It's a couple more stories I want to talk about, but I'm not going to do it. I think I got everything today. But yeah, it's sad. I just ask people to do a couple of things. If you see somebody being tormented by the police, please. Some things are worth laying your life down for. If you don't want to do that, videotape it. And make sure you get all angles and call them all out. Call backup, call the ambulance. If they're not going to call the ambulance, you call the ambulance. I'm going to be going over a bunch of stories concerning police doing stupid stuff. Most of them heavy set, don't want to run, and you make them run. It pisses them off. They're going to want to kill you after that. I don't know. They get mad because they got a call right in the middle of them eating that jelly donut. He is pissed off right now. Anyway, this is Bob TV Brown with the Bobby Brown Show. Always remember this. And I don't just say this lightly. Go out here and make a mark on this world that cannot be erased. If they have not done that, you can start today. It's something you can do that contribute to society. That is how valuable your life is. There's something in you. It's something in you that needs to be brought out to contribute to this society. You should never die empty. You're full of stuff. You just got to get it out. And Money Making Monday's coming. Stay tuned for that. I give you the information on that Sunday. That's for those who want to make extra money, helping us get the word out concerning people accessing the justice system, especially in emergency situations. I'll give you that information. And I love you. And good morning and good night.